So let's begin our lesson. In case you forget, before the vacation, we were talking about the major theoretical perspectives. In this course, we're going to discuss three perspectives: the functionalist, the conflict, and the interactionist. Of course, guys, keep in your mind that the sociologist will be mainly concerned with phenomena. And phenomena is simply observable facts or events about the society. Okay? So, after identifying a phenomenon, after recognizing a phenomena in the society, the sociologist will simply go to the theoretical perspective. We can say that the theoretical perspective is something like the school of thoughts or a bank of theories. So let's imagine that I'm a sociologist and I want to examine a certain phenomena in the society. So in order to do a sociological study, of course, I will use a scientific way, a scientific methods. I will not simply take the observations, because taking observations is not enough, is not a true sociological study. By using the sociological techniques, I must use a theory. So I will go to the theoretical perspective and choose one theory. Of course, I will not randomly choose a theory from the theoretical perspective. There are some steps, and I will tell you how to choose a theory from the theoretical perspective. So, first of all, the definition of the theoretical perspective will be a general set of assumptions about the nature of things. Okay? So our first definition, guys, will be theoretical perspective. It's a general set of assumptions about the nature of things. The first perspective we're going to discuss will be the functionalist. The functionalist perspective. It was established by Auguste Comte, Emile Durkheim, and Herbert Spencer. And keep in your mind that the first sociologist to mention something about the importance of the function of an element was Emile Durkheim. Okay, so the three sociologists who established the functionalist perspective were Auguste Comte, Emile Durkheim, and Herbert Spencer. So what's the functionalist perspective? It's simply, they said that the society, we had already said that every society all over the world consists of some parts of the society. Somehow, these parts are interacting together in order to produce something, social stability or social change. From a functionalist perspective, they said there's some kind of mutual agreement between these different parts. And this mutual agreement, they call it consensus. So the different parts of the society agree together that they will work together to produce a stable social system. Okay, and they focused on the function of family, religion, and education. Let's say that the parts of the society can be, we have a part for education, we have another part for family, another part as religion, another part as politics. All of these different parts are interacting together, working together to produce a stable social system. Okay? From your own point of view, guys, what do you think the function of family can be? Let me hear you. The function of family. Guess. Yes, Ahmed.
To raise up children.
Thank you very much. To raise the children. To take good care of the children. Yes, this is the function of the family. Of course. I'm not telling you here about unique societies or exotic examples. No. Here, what I mean, the normal societies, the usual societies. So the function of families all over the world in different societies all over the world is simply to produce members, to introduce new members to the society. Religion. If you look here, you're gonna see the main religions all over the world. Islam, Christianity, Judaism. What is this? Do you have any idea?
Which one was
This one.
Buddhism?
هي religion في الهند صح؟
Hinduism.
Buddhism.
Hinduism. What is this one?
Buddhism.
Exactly. So these are the main religions all over the world. And Emile Durkheim said that religion is the most important part of the society. Because he said that religion will be something like a glue that holds the different parts of the society together. Because somehow the people agreed to share these beliefs among them. They accept these beliefs, although he was Jew. But there is no problem. He was not prejudiced to his religion. No, he talked about this issue from a global perspective. Sorry, he talked about this issue from a global perspective as an outsider. Okay? So, the functionalists focused on family, religion, and education. Okay? So, the different parts of the society work together to produce a stable social system. The different parts of the society agree together to produce social stability. There's some kind of consensus, and consensus means mutual agreement, acceptance. What's a function? Function. Can you remember what's a function? Who's gonna help me here?
Mr. Would you repeat, please?
Function. What's a function?
It's the role of a member in a society.
The consequence of an element. Okay? Function, guys, keep it in your mind. Function is simply the consequence of an element. Okay? So, everything, everything in the world is running smoothly. We are living in utopia, for example.
Of course not.
Of course not. We are not living in utopia. What about crime, for example? Of course, crime, guys, crime will lead to social change, not to social stability. Okay? So we can say that crime is the negative consequence, right? Is not the usual consequence of an element. So we have function, the consequence of an element. On the other hand, we have the opposite of function, which is dysfunction. So dysfunction will be the negative consequence of an element. Let's say, for example, we have already said that the function of family will be, if I ask Amr Hatem, Amr, what do you think the function of family will be?
Father and mother.
I'm not asking you who are the family members, Amr.
اه
I'm asking you the function of family. What's
Function
the
of family.
role? What's the role of family in the society?
Role of family in society. Don't know بصراحة.
What's the purpose of establishing a family, Amr, from your own point of view?
To bring children and teach them. Children.
Not teaching
grow.
them, because simply
Only.
if the family will teach the children, so there is no need to send your kids to school. But the purpose of family, like you have just said, Amr, is simply to introduce the children, to introduce new members to the society, to raise the children, to take good care of the children. This is the function of the family, guys. To introduce new members to the society, to take good care of the children. Amr Zaki. Amr Zaki. Amr Zaki. Sleepy Amr. By the way, guys, if there is something wrong with his mic. Okay. So Luay, what do you think the function of families?
Raising children.
Thank you very much. To introduce new members to the society. Okay? So this gonna mean that all the children are good members in the society? What about the juvenile? Yes, Ahmed.
Of course not, Mr. Because every parent has a way of teaching or raising up children, so it differs and they have some morals. So somehow they are different. Not somehow, they are different. So of course there will be some good, some bad.
Abdurrahman Osama.
Mr. يعني as there is as not all kids are good, not all families are functioning as they should.
Exactly, because this is our real world. We have a norm, and norm means the expected behavior. Okay? And also, in the other hand, we have the actual behavior, but it's not our issue here. But we have said that the function of family, guys, is simply to introduce new members to the society. But of course, not all the families are doing their jobs. Not all of the families are functioning in the correct way. So this is gonna mean we have some dysfunctions. Okay? The negative consequence, right? Of course, crime, for example, will lead to social change, not to stable social system. Talking about functions, every function in the world, guys, has two sides. Okay? Every function has two sides. One of them is crystal clear to all of the people participating in this incident, and there is another hidden one. What do I mean? For example, I have who has a driving license?
Me.
Good for you.
Me, Mr.
Good for you too. And me too, by the way.
رأفت أكبر واحد في الفصل لسه ما عندوش ولا حاجة.
So guys, let's regardless of your response, okay? Let's say that let's imagine the situation, and this for all of you guys, not for only those who have the driving license, okay?
Yeah.
Let's imagine the situation. Imagine yourself going to the school by driving your own car, okay? So there is something all of the people who are going to see you will notice something, that you own yourself some kind of one of the ways of transportation. You have got one of the means of transportation. You can easily move from one location to another, right?
Right.
Because simply if you own a car, whenever you wanna move from one place to another, you can simply do it. That's it, a piece of a cake. Simply jump in the car and go wherever you wanna go. That's it. This is recognized. This is a fact for all of you. But there is another hidden one. By going to the school, driving your own car, you have earned yourself some kind of a social standing among your colleagues. You have owned yourself some kind of an upper social standing among your peers. Here is the situation. You are going to the school by driving your own car, and one of your classmates, for example, his place of residence is next to the school campus. So he's walking to school, or he's riding a bicycle going to school. Of course, both of you are not the same. By having a car, you have earned yourself an upper social standing. Okay? Another situation. While waiting at a traffic signal, okay, you are riding your car, maybe it's a Kia or Toyota or Chevy or whatever, normal car. You are simply sitting in your car listening to your music. But the car next to you is a Bentley or Lamborghini, Ferrari, okay? Both of you have one of the means of the transportation, but both of you are not the same. Because the guy next to you, by riding a Lamborghini, for example, he earned himself some kind of an upper social standing by showing wealth. Try to imagine the amount of money he spent in this car. Try to imagine the amount of money moving on 4 wheels. Got the difference? Or it's not clear? Our main topic is simply all the functions all over the world has a recognized consequence and a hidden one. Abdullah Hatem, can you give me an example, Abdullah, of a recognized and the hidden consequence of an element? Abdullah Hatem. Abdullah Hatem. By the way, guys, I'm
أيوة
gonna
مستر
call...
أيوة مستر أيوة مستر
Yes.
أيوة مستر أيوة أيوة مستر.
An example.
على إيه بقى؟
Recognized and the hidden function of an element in the site.
And a hidden function.
Yes.
hidden function بتاعت إيه بقى؟
What was the example we have already mentioned right now?
لا أنا لسه داخل.
Couple of seconds ago.
ما أنا لسه داخل حالا.
So you are a latecomer, right?
إيه؟
The lesson will be done by 10 minutes.
هو النت زبالة والله. لما بدخل بيقول لي rejoin.
Mazen Tariq, can you give me an example, please, of the recognized and the hidden consequence of an element?
سوري مستر الصوت بيقطع ممكن can you say again؟
Mazen, would you please tell me an example of the recognized and the hidden consequence of an element. What I have already said, guys, that all the elements of the society has a function, okay? And this function can be hidden and recognized. The same function of any element can be hidden and recognized, like the two examples I have just mentioned. So please give me another example. If you didn't get it, tell me, repeat it, mister, and I will do it. I have no problem. But do not just sit over there. Yasin Mustafa, can you give me an example? By the way, guys, by the way, your participation will be evaluated. So I'm not asking you a question about the previous lesson. I'm asking you right now about the topic we are discussing. So please, while sitting over there in this session, please try to clear your mind, because your participation will be evaluated after getting your certificates, looking at your marks. If you didn't get the full mark, even though you have already answered the correct answers in the quiz, here is your response. Here is your action. Because of your attitude, I have deducted your marks. So Yasin, where are you? I'm gonna call you your name for 3 times, and this will be for all of you guys.
Yasin responded in the chat.
Okay, Omar Tariq. Omar, can you give me an example?
He doesn't have a mic.
Omar does not have a mic. And Yasin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for Yasin, you can type me an example over here in the chatting area, no problem. But for Omar Tariq, can you please tell us one of the examples? It's an easy question, guys.
Mister, can I give an example?
I'm not talking about black holes in the outer space. Yes, be my guest. Tell me your example.
For example, someone buys a regular watch and another one buys a Rolex.
Thank you very much. Yes. By wearing a brand. Okay. Imagine yourself, for example, wearing a pair of shoes will be worth 2,000 riyals, for example. Of course, it will not be the same like one of your colleagues wearing a pair of shoes will cost only 100 riyal. Of course, both of you are not the same. But keep in your mind that you will not simply put on your expensive shoes and walk around by wearing a t-shirt and you're gonna write on it, I have an upper social class. I have earned myself an upper social class because I'm wearing expensive shoes. Of course, the people will say that you are lunatic, that you are mad. But it's a hidden consequence. Get the difference or not yet? Anyone can tell me another example, guys. Wallahi, believe me, it's not that hard. Yusuf Siraj. Yusuf. Again, and this will be for all of the class, guys. Okay? So all of you are here with me. All the elements in the society fulfills a function or plays a role in the society. This role is called function. Okay. If he plays, I'm talking here about the element of the society. If this element plays his role well, it's gonna be function, the consequence of an element. But if he plays his role in a wrong way, like committing a crime, for example, this gonna be dysfunction, the negative consequence, okay? This function, either it's in the correct way or in the wrong form, it has two influences in the society. It has one recognized and one hidden, the unrecognized, the manifest and the latent. So my example, by owning a car and going to the school, driving your own car, of course, every single human being will see this situation, will notice and figure out, yes, you owned yourself one of the means of transportation. You can easily move from one place to another. Why? Because you have a car. That's it. But the hidden one, the unrecognized consequence of this element, by going to the school, driving your own car, you have earned yourself some kind of an upper social standing among your colleagues, among your peers. So this is the manifest and the latent, the recognized consequence and the unrecognized consequence. Now, please tell me that you have an example for me. Let me see some hands. Or should I choose? Ahmed Sameh. Can you tell me an example, Ahmed? Ahmed Sameh. Ahmed. There is no Ahmed Sameh, right? So this gonna mean that Ahmed is absent for today. This is gonna mean that Ahmed Sameh is not here with us. Unfortunately, I will consider him absent. Okay. Yusuf Wael. Can you give me an example, Yusuf?
Of what, Mr.
Of the recognized and the unrecognized consequence of an element of the site. Have you heard my example?
No, Mr. Sorry.
Why you didn't hear my example about going to the school by driving your own car?
لا مستر لسه داخل والله.
But our lesson is almost done. We have only 3 minutes left, Yusuf. Be on time because the Classera will consider you absent.
تمام يا مستر معلش لسه جاي إن شاء الله.
Okay. Who's gonna help me here, guys? Believe me, it's not a hard question.
مستر معلش عندي سؤال بس هو سؤال driving to school by his own car it's unrecognized ولا recognized؟ مش المفروض انها recognized عشان هو
Use your mind. Can you see him? Use your mind. Can you easily see him if he goes to the school by his own car? You can see him?
ممكن.
He can be easily seen, right?
Yes.
So this is recognized.
Yes.
What about the unrecognized consequence?
Going to school with his father?
What?
Unrecognized.
Habibi, keep in your mind. Keep in your mind. Keep in your mind. We are simply talking about examples. Of course, logically thinking, I know that you didn't buy this car from your own money. It
Yes.
belongs to one of your parents. I have no problem with this issue. Even though by driving a car and going to the school with this car, regardless of the ownership issues, by going to the school, by driving a car, you have earned yourself some kind of an upper social standing among your colleagues, among your classmates.
أيوة فهمت.
Got it?
Yes.
Try to imagine that during the PE session, for example, okay, Omar, I will come to you. Like your PE session, one of your classmates simply wearing an original Parsa t-shirt, for example.
Yes.
Okay, of course, it will not be the same like the other friend wearing a normal t-shirt will be worth of 10 or 20 reals. Both of them are not the same. Omar Khalid, yes, what do you want to tell me?
لا أنا كنت بسأل أنا اللي كنت بسأل.
Sorry?
أنا اللي كنت بسأل أنا كنت رافع إيدي بسأل معلش.
Okay. Have I made myself clear for the manifest and latent?
Yes.
So let me ask. Guys, while being in the session, please try to clear your mind.
Yes, Mr.
Believe me, from my own experience, if you're gonna study sociology by yourself, it's gonna be Japanese to you. Have a nice time until we meet again tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
عليكم السلام.
Tamam.